Hello, everyone. This is Aniket here, and I welcome all of you to the Great Cyber Podcast. And today I have with me Dr. Byrd, my co host and my companion in this journey. Dr. Byrd, welcome to another episode.
Hey, thank you, Aniket. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm always excited when Aniket and I get a chance to discuss some of the latest topics in cybersecurity and AI.
Oh, yes. And there are so many things happening. It's always moving, something is always shifting. And today we are going to talk about one trend that hasn't changed a lot over the past few years. And that trend is about certifications. In
Exactly.
cybersecurity, certifications are very important because they give you that additional credibility. You've got certifications at an entry level, at the medium level, or the mid career level, leadership level as well. Then you've got certifications from vendors like Cisco, from Palo Alto, and whatnot. What's your view on certifications and cybersecurity professionals, Dr. Bird?
Well, that's an interesting point, Aniket. What we're seeing is really a two-pronged approach where we see the certifications and the certificates, right?
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
certifications, as you articulated, is about an exam. This is about competency areas, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
something that's vendor specific that they're providing from AWS or Microsoft to
Yep.
ensure that you have this very basic baseline of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
To provide value on a particular topic or an area. Now, the certificate programs are about building skill. If you're
Hmm.
transitioning from one work role and say, hey, I'd love to get into cybersecurity, I'd love to get into AI, how do I start this journey? Then the certificate programs are really, your initial step. And then as an add-on, you see people working towards the certifications, right?
Right.
Passing the exams, ensuring that you have the baseline in a particular area to contribute to a particular contract or project that you may be working on. What are some of the trends that you're seeing, Aniket?
One trend that I'm seeing is these certifications keep updating themselves. For example, CISSP is the gold standard for cybersecurity certification, and it's for somebody who has minimum 5 years of experience, hands-on experience in cybersecurity. And when you have this certification with you, your word gets a lot of credibility. And very recently, ISC2 has added the AI related concepts in various domains of CISSP. So vendors are updating their certifications to catch up with the AI revolution.
Exactly. That's so important. When you're
Yeah.
starting your journey, you want to make sure that you're participating and engage in a program that is evolving. Something that we've talked about in all of our podcasts and even our, master classes. We talk about the
Yeah.
evolution of technology and business and your ability to adapt accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. And that's why certifications keep changing. For example, CompTIA Security Plus is like the number one certification for an entry level professional in cybersecurity. And if you want validation of that, all you have to do is you have to go to that domain or the website called cyberseek.org. And on cyberseek.org, you'll be able to see how many people are holding this certification.
Exactly. And that's a helpful resource. I know in our orientation programs, we often share some of
Yeah.
those resources. Something else I wanted to provide is the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education, or NICE. That was
Okay.
started by CISA and the NIST in
Yeah.
2019 and 2020. And that
Hmm.
was part of the workforce framework for cybersecurity. There's different work role categories and competency areas. And if you're starting new to this space, I encourage you to take a look at that to ensure that you are prioritizing your efforts, your resources, and a certificate or a certification program that really adds value for your life, for your future.
Right. And is it the government jobs that are mapping to this, or do you see corporate jobs also mapping to this?
Primarily government jobs, but they, port over, right? So if you're looking for a job in pen testing or something like that, it
Yep.
provides you with competency areas, work roles, what that actually looks like, and it
Yeah.
maps you again the government roles and things of that nature. So again, this is a resource. There's no one stop fits all shop, but it's
Yeah.
about building a foundation and understanding what your likes and dislikes are and where to go from there.
Talking about resources, I remember in one of our initial episodes, you had given us a resource where somebody can find jobs in the US government. What was that website?
It's USAJobs. So USA
Okay.
Jobs is a federal website where they aggregate a lot of the opening posts and things of that nature, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a great resource to start. Now they'll also list any certifications or certificate requirements for those jobs. So again, it's about doing your homework. You can start with the CISA, the NIST, the NICE framework, CyberSeek, as Aniket
Mm.
articulated, and you'll get a
Yeah.
chance to see where those jobs are, what the pay scales are, what the expectations are, and you can determine if this is something that you truly like. It's nothing
Mm.
worse than investing your time and resources only to determine that, hey, this is really not my area. I'd love to do something else. So do a
Yeah.
bit of homework, find out what it is you're interested in. It maps back to the NIST framework, so you
Yeah.
get a chance to see investigatory work if you're into forensics or forensic accounting. If you're
Yeah.
into networking or pen testing, it's a great way to start your journey or transition if you're interested in.
Excellent. I would like to share an anecdote here. One of our team members, Minu, she has been attempting or she has been trying to attempt this certification called EJPT. It's like Junior Penetration Tester. And it's a practical exam and that goes on for a couple of days. And it's a daunting task to do all of that. I have seen Minu prepare for this certification for the last almost 8 months. And even then, she felt she's not ready. And at that time, as her manager, I kept pushing her, being the devil's advocate, saying that Minu, you will never be 100% ready. You have to book the slot for your exam and just prepare for that timeline. If you don't put a ticking time on or a timeline for that goal, you will just keep going on and on and on forever. Have you seen this as well?
Exactly. It's challenging. I know for a lot of people have test anxieties and those kind of
Yeah,
challenges. But
yeah,
what I try to tell my students is just you prepare, have confidence in your work and your knowledge,
yes,
and know that you've done everything that you can to be successful. And then to your point, Aniket, as a manager, as a thought leader, then you give it your best shot, right?
yeah, yeah,
Knowing that, hey, this is a learning process. So don't be hard on yourself
right.
and just give it your best shot.
Yeah, exactly. And Minu passed this exam. She called me yesterday at 9:45 p.m. and
Ugh.
and she was elated, she was excited, and she wanted to tell me that Aniket, sir, I passed the exam. I was like, wow, fantastic achievement.
Congratulations, Minu. Congratulations.
Yeah. So this is also something that you get when you pass the exam, your confidence level goes high. And you start
Exactly.
thinking that if I can pass that exam, I can crack all of these servers, then I certainly have some skills. But then I want to warn everybody about something, couple of myths. One myth that I want to talk about is guarantees. A lot of people think that just because you passed an exam, you've got the CISSP, you are going to start getting calls from employers getting in a line to hire you. Doesn't work like that. Have you seen something similar too?
Exactly. It's a big business out here, cybersecurity and AI.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, there are a lot of myths and salesmanship out here. So you just want
Yeah.
to have the, clear understanding that nothing is a guarantee. This is about building a foundation of your knowledge and a lifelong journey and a career growth. While this
Right.
puts you in a better position to be hired for a lot of the positions, there's no ultimate guarantee. You want to
Right.
continue to build your network of friends and your community of resources in cybersecurity or in AI or in forensics, whatever your focus area happens to be, and
Yeah.
then that'll put you there.
Right. There is another myth that I have seen. More than a myth, it's a misunderstanding, and it kind of frustrates me. I have seen this so many times, heard so many times, people getting frustrated because someone said, "Oh, I'm doing an IT job right now. I figured I will do CCNA, and after that, I will see what to do next." Someone said, "Oh, I'm just going to start preparing for CISSP. I heard from a lot of people, and after I pass my exam, then I will start figuring out what to do next." So, your certification is not the first step. You need to find out your path. Are you going on a pen testing road? Are you going on a compliance road? Are you going on an engineering pathway? Depending on that pathway, depending on which jobs you want to apply for, then you choose that certification logically, and then you start preparing for it.
That's great advice, Aniket. Again, I encourage people to take a look at the the NIST website where you can see some of these work roles and
Yeah,
competency areas. It's really about the expectation. If you're interested in pen testing, this is what
yeah.
that looks like in your day-to-day job. And just be
Hmm.
honest with yourself. Is this something that I'm truly interested in? That's
Hmm.
a kind of investigation that is of no cost. But it's
Right.
important to put that time in so you aren't wasting your resources, to your point. If you're interested in pen testing, make sure you're reading about it, understanding what your employers are going to be looking for,
Yeah.
and then you prepare your course accordingly, whether that be through the certifications or the certificates or both.
Right. So you talked about the certificates at the beginning of this podcast. Now that we are reaching towards the end of this podcast episode, why don't we talk about the difference between a certificate program like the JHU's cybersecurity program that we have and any certification? What are the main differences?
Well, the certificate program, ours in particularly, is about bridging a gap. We
Hmm.
have a lot of learners that are coming from different career paths that are interested in cybersecurity, that are interested in AI, that are interested in data science. And we
Yeah.
wanted to provide an opportunity to, again, build the foundational knowledge to help
Hmm.
you transition from point A to point B in your
Right.
knowledge base. We don't make any guarantees or promises that, this is what's going to happen. All of these jobs will line up, but you are
Yeah.
positioning yourself for this educational and career journey. And we
Hmm.
do that a couple different ways. We've partnered with Aniket and Great Learning Team to provide labs and master classes and learning opportunities, and even our podcast
Yes.
to create
Yes.
a synergy around
Yes.
what it's needed to build your career, transitioning from point A, from, hey, I'm a new learner, or I have some
Hmm.
very foundational information in these topical areas, to
Yeah.
a lifelong journey in, cyber or AI or data science, whatever the case may be. So that's what the certificate's about. It's about building skills and competencies, and those things happen over time. Now, the certifications, like you shared with Minu, she's been in the space for a while. She's been in cybersecurity, but she wanted to focus, learn the nuances of pen testing and the
Yes.
assessment and evaluation. So she spent her energy and time focusing on that. And once she
Yes.
achieved that objective, she's able to culminate the information that she's learned to
Yeah.
that objective.
So true. So true. So, a couple of differences I could make out. One is our a certification program is going to have a hands-on element, and
Yes,
a certificate will be mostly theoretical. Most of the certificates are.
exactly.
Second is a certification program is more dynamic in nature, where depending on what's currently going on, the content gets updated, masterclasses happen, whereas certification exams and the programs around that are more focused towards that one fixed curriculum, which gets updated once in 2 to 3 years.
Exactly.
So, so the objective is very different, but then
Exactly.
both of them have their own value. If you are here to build a new skill, start from scratch, start from a certificate program. But if you already have the skills and you only want to prove it and get that on your resume, then you go for the exams. Would that be correct?
Well said, Aniket. I agree 100%. Well said.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Byrd. So, this is it, our episode on certifications and certificate programs. We wanted to keep this one light because a lot of people are interested in this. So, let's see if you have any questions around this, any ambiguities, if you feel like you are at a dilemma, not able to make a decision, put a comment in the chat box so that we can discuss about what could be your next step. Your closing comments, Dr. Byrd.
I agree with you, Aniket. This is a lifelong journey. It's about your investigation into what makes you happy. What are your
Yes.
passions currently? And then you have to compare that to what the industry is indicating. What is the future of technology and business? You want to
Right.
make sure you are aligning your skill set, being realistic about the expectations of the future, and
Yes.
positioning yourself for success. Thanks again for joining us on our podcast.
Thank you so much, Dr. Byrd. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. We will meet you in the next episode of the Great Cyber Podcast and explore a new dimension of cybersecurity. This is Aniket and Dr. Byrd signing off. See you in the next episode.
See you, everyone.